How can you use investing as a way to break away from your 9-to-5 job? That was the question that plagued the back of my mind for quite a while. I was beginning to be plagued by anxiety and fear, even though I know since I was very young that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was still held back by something. The root cause? I wasn't really sure. I began to really self-examine why I was feeling the anxiety and the fear that I was feeling all along. I began to realize that this fear, for one, is pretty common for most entrepreneurs, honestly. Even if we're confident that this is what we want to do, oftentimes we're afraid to lose what we have already, even though it may not be much in comparison. So under the self-examination of this anxiety, I heard something from Tim Ferriss that helped me kind of clear this up a little bit more. What would it take for you to get back to the place that you're at now? So if you're at a comfortable 9-to-5 job, what would it take for you to get back to that point? It doesn't take much, I think, for most of us to realize that it doesn't take a lot to get back to where I'm at. For me, in a sales position, I'm doing well for myself in comparison to the average American, but for me to get back to that point, if, say, all my businesses fail, then it wouldn't take that much at all. In fact, I could probably get a job within the next week. I'm getting recruiters contacting me already while I still currently have a job. So one way that you can, and that I spearheaded my anxiety, I just began to realize, what would it take for you to get back to the point that you're at now? And I think you'll realize it's not really much. For us to start a business now, for us to pursue our dreams, to pursue that business, we could do it now. I think we just need the confidence. We just allow fear and anxiety to hold us back. But even beyond the anxiety of what would it take for you to get back to the place you're at now, that comfortable bubble that you're living in currently, I also began to think more proactive on what would it take for me to spearhead this anxiety and to alleviate it beyond just getting back to the place you're at now. So I began to think about, what does the American dream look like for most? It's usually comfortable retirement. What our parents say is find a nice 9-to-5 job for a good corporation that's good benefits, and maybe at the end of your life you can have 10 years of retirement under a pension or a matching 401k, and you can live off Social Security and a little bit of 401k for around 70 grand. I thought, okay, what if I could exceed that? And ironically enough, around that time I began to really dive into fundamental analysis, options investing, but that kind of led down to just general investing and 401k investing. As you know, in my previous videos, we talked a little bit more about the average American becoming a millionaire in their lifetime, and a multimillionaire even, and how to invest in your 20s if you're looking to do so. So this kind of led me down the rabbit hole a little bit more and more to find out more about investing and answer this anxiety and to spearhead it and to remove it out of my life. Investing was the key to that, I began to realize. So if I can pursue the American dream, if I can become a multimillionaire and do the small steps like we talked about of a few $100s per month into a 401k, and I know that at the end of it, let's say that I try to start 7 businesses over the next 40 years, but they all fail. Even if they all fail, I did the small steps of what it took to put that money away and to allow it to grow into a multi-million-dollar nest egg. So this investment allows me to, at the end of it, have the American dream and actually exceed the American dream. So it alleviates the anxiety for me and allows me to then feel free in knowing that I can leave my 9-to-5 once I find truly what I want to do and what I want to pursue. Because I know that if I do the small steps, that if all else fails, if I just do the small steps, then the American dream is still there for me. I still have that foundation of becoming a multi-millionaire. So then you may be asking, so what do I do with this information? If you're in the same situation that I was, at least, and you find yourself wanting to do something but you're plagued by anxiety, start investing now. Especially if you're in your 20s, you can really become a multi-millionaire easy if you start early. And if you need more information, you can definitely look back at my previous videos. But what I want you to do, and what I'm going to do, is to start investing now. Start taking those steps. Because if you do, I think you'll begin to realize not only will you have that future taken care of, but you should have that anxiety relieved. And knowing, one, you can get back to the place that you're at now pretty easily. And two, you have the American dream waiting for you nonetheless. even if things fail, they don't work out, you can still have that multi-million-dollar life. You can still live the life you want. But I think you'll be surprised, and I'll be surprised, looking back, that I think we're just plagued by anxiety as a whole. I think it's just natural for an entrepreneur to be calculated and want to take risks and be conservative, especially if you have a lot to lose, if you have a family, child, or wife. It's understandable. But I think we're going to look back on our lives and begin to see, man, if I just took that step sooner, I was afraid for all the wrong reasons. We just have to start walking through the door. And yes, sometimes it's going to shut in our face, as we've seen with a lot of multimillionaires and some billionaires. But that's okay. So start investing now. Start spearheading that anxiety now. Start walking down the path that you want to go. Open up that business, that gym, that coffee shop. Start doing that consulting you've always wanted to do. Because I promise, this anxiety that we often feel is just shallow. One day we're going to look back and I think we're going to see, really, we should have done this sooner. So let's start now. Again, my name is Jacob Haynes. I want to know your opinion more than anything else. So in the comment section below, interact with me. Ask me some questions that I can answer. Or if you disagreed with me or agreed with me, let me know down in the comment section below. Again, my name is Jacob Haynes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.